Yo, how y'all doing? How y'all doing, man? Welcome in. What's good? Yes, sirski. It's the weekend, baby. We here. Yup. It's game day, baby. I wonder what that day feels like, man. I wonder if they wake up in a good mood, if they wake up excited, if they wake up nervous. I'm so curious, actually. How y'all doing, man? Welcome in. Happy Friday, y'all. We gonna let this rock out for a little bit, man. Set the vibes. We ain't got shit to talk about. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, man, y'all got anything planned for the weekend? Y'all got anything planned, man? Yup. Yup. All right, man. Welcome in, man. Get settled, man. Get settled. Welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera podcast, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, today is game 4. It's a quick turnaround between game 3 and game 4, but we got to talk about game 3. I know if you were on the other night, we were watching it together as a family once again. It was a ton of fun. But what it really, for me right now, this series is so interesting because it's so like hard to call. It's so hard to call right now, and I've been so wrong in these playoffs. I'll be so straight up with y'all. I've been very wrong about a lot of these playoff series, about a lot of these playoff games, these teams, these players. And I think really what my overall take is right now with the NBA is we are seeing the next era of basketball. We have players that are stepping up into the role of, those top guys in the NBA who become the leaders that mentor the guys coming up. We're seeing guys step up into those roles. We're seeing guys who were in those roles slowly fading away, right? We're seeing such a turnover in the NBA. And I think this series, really shows that, right? We have the number 1 defensive team in the NBA, a historically good defensive team, struggling against the Indiana Pacers. And the Indiana Pacers won this game 116-107. And I kept preaching that, the Pacers won by 9, and so many players stepped up for them, right? So many players stepped up for the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton closed the game out really strong. Siakam had his moments, but really, this game was about Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, and most importantly, Benedict Mathurin. And to have so many names that had so many moments in this game, compared to the Oklahoma City Thunder side, where J-Dub, Jalen Williams had some moments, right? But we're still looking at Shai. Chet had some moments. Lou Dort had a first quarter. right? But other than that, it was pretty quiet for everyone on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um let's get into it. I really want to start off by um highlighting Indiana, right? I want to start off by highlighting the Indiana Pacers, and specifically TJ McConnell, right? TJ McConnell, I think, is incredible. I think TJ McConnell is an absolutely great basketball player to have on your team, right? A great basketball player to have on your team. And he's someone that impacts the game in so many different ways, and he can do it in the blink of an eye, right? In this scenario, in the second quarter, OKC had been up for most of the game at this point. Indiana was here trying to make a run. And let's take a look at this right here. TJ had come in the game. Let's take a look at how impactful he's able to be if you are guarding him, right? If you are guarding TJ McConnell, he will shoot the three. But in this situation, I think you're up way too high and he just runs. Right? I think if he's a little bit lower, he doesn't have to fight to go over this, or you got to try to chase him down. But TJ is just running through everybody, right? I think everyone is too high.
Inside, beautiful pass.
Right? You got to give, like, I think both of them could have been lower on this, right? Both of them could have been lower. Obviously, you're trying to respect Obi Toppin's ability to shoot. Chet, you have to get here early. You saw he was giving the pass off. You're still, at this level. You have to be already over here. Force him to go in this spot and hit a crazy crossover. Instead, he gets all the way. Great cut right here, right? By the way, great cut.
Inside, beautiful
And it happens
pass.
time and again against the Oklahoma City Thunder when they're turned around. But right after this play, literally right after,
Neesmith moving without the ball. Stolen by McConnell. Throws it off. Wallace. Pace.
and just right there in that moment, the amount of energy that TJ McConnell was able to generate in that arena is something that you can't quantify in a box score. Let me see. Let me actually take a look at the sequences right after this. Second quarter, that was at what minute mark? It was the 9:42 mark. I want to see this. Neesmith cutting layup, turnover. Mathurin missed the layup. Wallace gets a layup after that, 36-32. Mathurin hits a three. There's a sub. Jalen Williams misses a pull-up jump shot. Siakam gets a rebound. Aaron Wiggins gets a foul. TJ McConnell hits free throws. Shai Gilgeous Alexander gets a turnover. McConnell gets his third steal. Siakam misses a layup. Shai misses a floater. Mathurin hits a layup. Ever since that sequence by McConnell, you could see both teams fighting, and both teams are really good, right? That's why it's not so easy. Other situations, other teams McConnell has that moment and they go on a 15-0 run, right? But you could see that OKC is fighting in these possessions to keep the game alive, but little by little, right? All of a sudden, at that moment, it was 34-32 OKC. You blink, right? And it's, what was this that I was looking at after this layup? And it's 39-36 Indiana. And that was like in a 2-minute span, right? That was in a 2-minute span. You had the 2-point lead. All of a sudden, you're down 3. And that stems off of the TJ McConnell sequence of being aggressive, right? TJ McConnell's entire objective on offense is to get everyone else involved, but his path to doing that is to be aggressive and trying to get a foot in the paint, right? So he tries to get a foot in the paint, and then after that, what does he do? He looks for his teammates. And if you're OKC, you have to know that when he's coming in, and he's gonna pick you up 94 feet. Right? Those are the two things that you can count on when TJ McConnell gets in the game, and you have to have a counter for that because they feed off of his energy. And, you know, you can't, something you can account for is when players turn up, right? There are some players that, you know, they're third quarter players. Maybe a player's a second quarter player, right? You get the really important, really rare ones where they're fourth quarter players. Something happens to them in the fourth quarter, and they're fourth quarter players. Andrew Nembhard, I think, is a solid example. You know, I always call back on Jeremy Lin. Right, I always call back on Jeremy Lin, fourth quarter player. Lou Williams, fourth quarter player. Jamal Crawford, you know, that there's a reason why they played him in the fourth. Manu, there's so many players where they transform into different players, in certain situations. You as a coach need to know that and need to put those guys in spots to be successful. But the ones that are really odd, right? The ones that are really odd are the players that just turn up out of nowhere. And I'm trying to think of this player. Who is this? Who the fuck is this player, man? Dude that was going crazy in the bubble. Who's the guy that was going absolutely bananas in the bubble, man? TJ Warren. Right? When TJ Warren was turning into fucking Kobe Bryant in the playoffs, if y'all remember that. Like, there are just some players that, and Benedict Mathurin is a solid player, but you can't account for some of the shit that he was doing. And for Rick Carlisle to really know his team, to understand, like, he saw something early in this game with Benedict Mathurin where he's like, oh shit, okay, he's on tonight, right? So to continually call his name because there's something that you saw in him, that's great coaching. That's having trust, and that's how you have performances like the one that Benedict Mathurin had. Your coach has to know you. Your coach has to know you. Your coach has to know your team. And this is something that Rick Carlisle knows and understands, so he's able to empower someone like Benedict Mathurin. But this is something that their whole team knows, right? No one was surprised when he's coming off pick and rolls, isolating, spin move into the end one shot. No one's surprised when he's has guys on the hip, lefty layup. Like, no one is surprised on the team. Even though it comes out of nowhere, they know how to adjust and how to react to it, and it's very apparent. So we got to give him some credit. Let's take a look at this right here.
Have done an outstanding job against this great OKC defensive team shooting.
Like, who does that shit usually? Like, he don't be doing that every time down. That's when you know someone is in their bag. They start doing little shit like that.
48% from the field.
And then the hezzy into the spin.
From the field. Ball spin move. Mathurin shot is good and a foul. Through some contact.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Like, that's. Oh, and then this is the other one. Let's take a look at this.
Right there. Mathurin inside, left-handed off the glass. The Mathurin.
So these are his field goals. Let's take a look at what his first couple ones were. Maybe there was something in here that showed Rick Carlisle. This guy was on tonight.
Siakam makes. Siakam's going to try again. Three-pointer. McConnell with a rebound. Touch pass inside. Mathurin lays it up.
Let's see the next play.
Neesmith to Mathurin.
I think it was this.
Mathurin pulls up, jump shot is good.
And I don't want to be the details guy. I know I was cooking all the trainers right now, but you could tell when someone is in flow. You could just tell the way they're moving, the way they're dribbling the ball. Look at all of his little micro movements. Look at all of the little movements that he does, man. The little stop in this, situation, right? The little in and out right there.
Shot clock at 7.
Tween, drop it. You saw the little switch step. You saw the little switch step right after the tween. Oh, into the pull up. And I think Rick Carlisle knew. I'm trying to find Rick. Where is he? He's probably standing over here somewhere.
With a couple of buckets.
I think Rick Carlisle knew that this guy was on. And then right there, when he hit that shot too, I was like, oh shit, he's on to something today. That relationship between coach and player is so important, right? That relationship is so important, and they kept going to him. It wasn't until later on and he started making crazy shots, right? Like that spin, the lefty layup. That's when you just know you're on. Everything is going, everything is moving. You just know that you're on. So, I want to give a lot of credit to him. Where is this? But I've said it before too, right? This was happening with the New York Knicks, where, during certain situations and certain moments, it's as if the team knew, all right, JB needs to get the ball right now, right? The game is tied. It don't matter who just tied the game. It don't matter if someone scored 3-4 straight. It don't matter if someone else is on fire. JB gets that shot. And I feel like that's something that happens time and again for the Indiana Pacers too. I don't know if it's something they're conscious about. I don't know if it's something that's natural, right? Because they've spoken about the way they look at the game, their ideologies on top of their strategies and whatnot. But Halliburton gets these shots constantly, man. He always gets these shots. Mathurin is already on fire. 5:49 in the third. He had an incredible second quarter. He's already on fire. Game is tied, but who gets the shot? Waiting for Halliburton.
14 points off the bench in the first half. Halliburton steps back and puts it in.
Fucking
third
cash.
Three-pointer for Halliburton. The Thunder need timeout.
Again, same situation again where, other guys have been making plays. Halliburton's been making plays too, but other guys have been making plays. Who gets the shot when it's tied?
Nembhard back to Turner. Halliburton looking for some room. Step back three. It's good. Tyrese Halliburton.
It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, right? This is why Tyrese Halliburton has been taking their game-winning shots, their clutch shots, right? There's a reason why there are moments in the game. It's not just the fourth quarter. It happens in the second. It happens in the third. During runs, to stop runs. Halliburton gets a lot of those shots. That's why I think it's so important for him to be aggressive, because he takes and makes big shots throughout the game, not just the fourth quarter. Right? And that's why there's some people that say, oh, that's not his game. That's not what he does. That's cool. Part of the maturation process. You don't have to score 30 a game. Right? But there's room for you in your offensive game to grow, because you show multiple times a game whether you're playing well, whether you're not playing well, as we saw with the game winner in game one. Right, we saw in this game, he woke up in the second half. And in both scenarios that we just showed, who put the Indiana Pacers up? It was Tyrese Halliburton. So, if you are the Oklahoma City Thunder, you have to understand it almost does not matter how well or how poorly Tyrese Halliburton is playing. When the game is tied in the third and fourth quarter, you got to go and find him. Right? If that's something you guys haven't figured out yet, newsflash, you got to go find Tyrese Halliburton when the game is tied. When it's 1-2 point lead, game tied, you're up 1 or 2, you got to find Tyrese Halliburton. He's the guy that makes those plays time and again. Maybe he doesn't have 30. Like, he don't need to have 30 to be the guy looking for those shots, because he hunts them down. He literally hunts those shots down. And I think this is where Rick Carlisle's experience comes in. You know, Mark Dagnall is a really good coach. And I think, I'll be honest, I think I even underplayed the coaching aspect in all of this, right? But Rick Carlisle really knows this team. Like, he really, really knows this team. Because of everything that I've spoken about, right? Andrew Nembhard is a solid NBA player. On most teams, he would not be running isolation plays at the end of games the way he bopped Shai Gilgeous Alexander the other night, and then tried to do it again and missed. Like, you wouldn't have that type of freedom if you look at him play for the first 43 minutes of a basketball game. Benedict Mathurin, most nights when you watch him, you wouldn't expect what we saw the other night. But Rick Carlisle did. He kept giving him the basketball. He and the team knew and understood who Benedict Mathurin is. Tyrese Halliburton. I just showed 2 clips where he took the shot when the game was tied. Benedict Mathurin was on fire. Other guys were having good games. Both times, Tyrese Halliburton took the shot and made the shot. That is coaching. That is a player's coach. That shows you that this guy knows his team. And so when he needs certain things to happen, he knows who to put in there. He knows who not to put in there. right? When he brought TJ in, I was like, this is perfect. Like he knew exactly when to throw TJ McConnell into the game. Right, to know the value of each one of these guys. Obi Toppin has been incredible. Right? This guy has been, I'm going to call it what it is. Rick Carlisle has been out coaching everyone in the playoffs. Everyone in the playoffs has been getting out coached by him. You know, and you got to give the players a lot of credit as well too for executing on the game plan, but I think Rick Carlisle knows how to put everyone in the right spot to be successful at the right time, depending on the situation. And it's because of all of his experience, right? So many playoff games with so many different teams, so many different personalities. Think about that Dallas Mavericks team that he had. Everyone now says, wow, JJ Barea was so good. Even guys that watch basketball a lot back then, some guys wouldn't have known that, right? To know that Jason Terry was taking and making big shots, right? All of those things were coaching, and it's showing right here, right? A guy that's gathered all of this experience over time, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it. It feels like the Indiana Pacers have a date with destiny, man. Like that's really, I said it before, right? I said it before, even in calling this series, because I'm hate watching. I'm be honest, I'm hate watching. Like they beat my New York Knicks, OKC in orange and blue. Like, hey man, you got to go beat the guys that beat us. You got to get our trade. And but this whole run, you know, it started off shaky, right? Milwaukee was hurt, but that Cleveland series, the way that they took apart the Cleveland Cavaliers, the way that they withstood pretty much every Donovan Mitchell run, said a lot against a coach that I thought was unreal this year. And then you follow that up with a New York Knicks team that was on fire, right? We were on fire. We were clutch. You know, our best player was everything. Everything was going well for us, right? In my opinion, we had an upgrade in our team, and we, you know, and the Pacers are pretty much the same. And we took them to 7 games last year, and we just, you know, couldn't get the job done this year. So the way that the Pacers have won these games, the way they've come back, it just feels like they're going to win the championship. And, you know, at the end of it, right? At the end of it, I think this comes down to Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Right, I put the game on him on Game 3 on Wednesday night, and you know I was watching the Draymond Green Baron Davis show, and they were recapping Game 3, and they both said, you know, kind of what I said, that, you know, we spoke about this briefly, we alluded to this briefly during Game 3, and even in Game 2, I think we spoke about it a little bit, and it's the fact that it feels like Shai Gilgeous Alexander gets content with scoring 30 points. Like he's like a weird, it's like an odd thing, because typically scorers, when you're scoring at a high clip and you're shooting at a high percentage at a high rate, typically scorers keep shooting. Shai is an anomaly in which he like wants to stop at around 30 points. It's as if he doesn't want to score too much. And I don't know if it's this selfish label that you know people have tried to throw on him. I don't know if shot hunting that some people have tried to label him. my message to you, Shai, is they said the same thing about Kobe, your favorite player. They said the same thing about Michael Jordan. They said the same thing about Allen Iverson. They said the same thing about pretty much every high-level, elite, GOAT-level, top-tier scorer ever. Your favorite players are on that list. Now, I get that you score 30 points a game in the regular season. You're scoring 30 points a game in the playoffs. Well, you got to up your game, sir. Draymond Green and Baron Davis said it. It's not just me. Your level of play has to go up. You average 30. You got to find a way to get to 34, 35. That's on you. You got to figure it out. Because there's going to be guys on your team who you need to expect their averages are going to dip. And with that being said, the only person that can really make up for that is you. So, you know, if you are Shai Gilgeous Alexander, you need to figure out a way to average more. Like if you score 45 tomorrow night or tonight and then 30 some the other night, you'll average out to about like 34, 35. You don't need a bunch of 50-point games. You don't need a whole bunch of them. But you are the person that we are looking at that could disrupt this whole Indiana Pacers thing that's happening right now. You know, they talk about like the chosen one. You're the one chosen for this task. I think he's the right guy for the job. I think they found the right guy for the job. And I know he tries to be too cool for school. I get it, right? They asked him questions this year about his matchups against Boston, against Anthony Edwards, and he tries to be cool and say, you know, I'm pretty good at basketball. Listen, bro. You're really fucking good at basketball. Like, really fucking good. Like, people like me, other people are watching you, and we're saying, God, this guy could be, like, he could really end up there. So, stopping at 30 isn't going to get the job done. And listen, they're already calling you selfish anyway. They're going to keep calling you selfish until you win a ring. And guess what? You got to be selfish to win a ring, unfortunately. I know it probably goes against everything that he stands by right now, and that's what makes this really difficult, but you need more. Like the crazy thing about this game is this series is OKC has the MVP, but the Indiana Pacers has the former champion, the Olympian, the All-Stars. Like Jalen Williams is really young, so it's really on Shai Gilgeous Alexander. You got to shoot. Hey, Draymond and Baron Davis said it. You got to shoot 35 times. Like, you have to. That's what you got to do to win this series. You're not a passer. You're not LeBron, Luka. Like, you're none of these guys. That's fine. You go get buckets. So get buckets. Because when you get buckets, that'll open things up for your teammates. And it's on you, Shai Gilgeous Alexander, to be able to read the game, and your teammates to be able to read the game, to know and understand when they need to make a big shot down the stretch. But that's going to come from your aggression. And so, he had a poor game 3. right? 9 for 20, 1 of 3 from the field, only 6 free throw attempts, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, no steals, right? 3 blocks, 6 turnovers, 24 points. That's a bad game. That's a bad game. You didn't even hit your average. That's a bad game. So, you know, looking forward to tonight, he needs to he really needs to be even more aggressive than he already is. And I think it's very easy, right? Especially the way the media and stuff is nowadays. You get non-basketball guys that are calling you selfish, right? You get non-basketball guys that are that call you selfish, that tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. When I'm gonna pull this up right now, like like this is crazy. I'm gonna just tell y'all the playoff averages for Michael Jeffrey Jordan, right? His rookie year, 29.3. Second year, this is average for the playoffs, right? Talking about you're being too selfish. Pascal, what's good, Black Canadian? What's good? But let's look at Michael Jeffrey Jordan's points per game, right? 29.3 in his rookie year, 43.7 in his second year, 35.7 when his third year, 36.4 in year 4, 34.8 in year 5, 36.7 in year 6, 31.1 in year 7, 34.5 in year 8, 35.1 in year 9. Those last 3 he won a championship, by the way. 31.5 in when he came back after his retirement. This is the second string of championships. 30.7, 31.1, and 32.4. Throughout his playoff career, he averaged 33.4 and shot 25.1 times a game. Shot 8.2 free throws a game. Like, don't let that media shit fool you. This is who the old heads call the GOAT. Don't let that media stuff, oh, you're being selfish, you gotta pass. No, you gotta shoot the fucking ball, bro. You are the MV fucking P. Actually, if you think about it, he had 38 in game 1, right? 34 in game 2, which is great. You just brought your average down. Like, if you think about it, you just brought your average down. Let's bring up the calculator, right? Let's bring up a calculator. So 38 plus 34 equals 72 divided by 2. That's 36 points per game, right? Through those first 2. So let's do 38 plus 34 plus 24 divided by 3. And now you're all of a sudden at 32 points per game. So to get to like 35, right, you're gonna have to score like damn near 40. is the moral of this story, Shai Gilgeous Alexander. And I think you're the right man for the job. Listen, I'm not an OKC fan. I just want to see the next great come up. Who you calling old head? I'm finna stomp you with the steel toes. Oh, I wasn't calling you a old head, bruh. I was just saying in general, like, old heads be calling it, like, I feel like those same guys that will tell you to be selfish, that you're being selfish, will be the same guys that'll turn around and be like, we'll turn around and be like, yo, but Michael Jordan is the GOAT. The motherfucker was shooting like 30 times a game, dog. Like, right man for the job. How is that a pause? That's a reach. That's a reach. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a Steam Deck. I'm gonna put sound cues in for when you reaching, for when you be reaching. I'll admit when I'll admit when I'm wrong. If you ever watch the Joe Budden podcast, Rory might have the greatest pause moment of all time with Trey Songz when he was talking about Trey Songz. It was one of the greatest. It was one of the greatest ones. I might have to pull that up if y'all are not familiar. This is a legendary moment, bro. I don't know if y'all ready for this, man.
But very
Let's watch this as a family, yo. I missed that old shit. That's a reach around. I'm sorry. They killed me. Nah, this is goated right here.
underrated discography. You'll be surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Trey.
Yep.
I think Trey could give me 20 minutes of hits.
Yo, wait, hold on.
All right. In the context.
Wait, yo, hold on.
In the context.
Hold on. Bro,
I got on that one.
That was fucking insane. Don't ever say no shit
I'm
like
gonna
that.
own that one.
And I don't even play the pause game like that, but that was fucking crazy.
I'll own that
Trey
one.
can give me 20 minutes.
All right,
of
settle down. Everyone settle down.
Joe, that's nuts.
Everyone settle down. Everyone settle down. We've
Bro,
had
you my
enough.
nigga, but that was crazy. That's great.
We've
I'm gonna
had
chill
enough.
out. I'm gonna chill out, but that was wild.
20 minutes of hit records.
We gotta run that back. We gotta run that back for the culture.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Trey.
Yep.
I think Trey could give me 20 minutes of hits.
Yo.
Yo, when the teacher not around, we be going crazy when Bruce not here. Oh my God, I'm leaving. I never seen this one. Nah, bro. I'm a Joe Budden pod OG. That shit is fucking classic, dog. Nah, he might have the ultimate pause ever, bro. That shit was the way he said it. It was the way Trey can give me 20 minutes of hits. I was like, hey, yo. Hey, you see Maul trying to like, he tried to give him some leeway, but he said, yo. Oh, that's classic. That's fucking classic, man. That's classic. But listen, man, this Pacer series feels over, dog. I used to watch more clips, could never watch the entire thing, and always I always watch their whole pod, man. I always enjoy it. I mean, I wouldn't listen to it all the way through in one sitting, especially like when you know, I was in New York, train rides going, you know, to and from home, you know, like I was cutting it up, right? I was cutting it up, but I've always enjoyed podcasts. I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, you know, all the sports podcasts. So I like that shit. But listen, man, my pick already my pick already got fucked, man. Like OKC, like they already, it feels over, man. Like this feels over. Thunder don't got real hoopers. Like the only person that can stop this, like, and I'm not even trying to be dramatic right now, even if this sounds dramatic as fuck. The only person that can stop this is Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Like he is the only person that could stop all of this shit, because if he is trying to score 50 a game, the way it's going to open up everyone, the way the Indiana Pacers, he's yet to force them to sprint at him. I don't think I've seen them full sprint at him the way that they should as the MVP of the league, right? They're you know, they let him get 38 and 34. Rick Carlisle talking about we can't guard him. Meanwhile, y'all split the games and then beat them game 3. Like, clearly, there's something there. They be sprinting looking for Shai in the 4th. Yeah, like they gotta, like, he need, like I said, man, I think NBA, I think this NBA thing, and I'm sure Shai was a product of this too, right? Growing up, I'll speak for myself, right? Growing up, I remember when they called Kobe Bryant selfish, when he was a ball hog, when he would chuck shots. I mean, people still make the jokes about Kobe Bryant not passing the basketball, right? I know people won't remember this, but I saw it wasn't that loud, but so I would imagine it was a lot worse while Jordan was playing. But I remember people were calling him selfish. People were calling him a ball hog. People were saying he was taking bad shots, right? This narrative exists, but they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because in theory, what these analysts and what some of these guys say sound great about the team, all of that. But when it actually plays out, there's a reason Kobe got 5. There's a reason Mike got 6. And it wasn't because they were motherfucking Steve Nash out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. Thunder miss a lot when it matters. Same with Shai, ironically. And again, his defense is awful. I remember the PS2 controller with only square. LMAO. You know what's funny though? I think like when it comes to Shai Gilgeous Alexander in the 4th quarter, we've seen him hesitant. It's not like the other 3 quarters, right? The other 3 quarters, every time down, he seems like he knows what he's trying to get to, or he has a feel for what he's trying to get to. I know he said before that even his dad said, you know, he don't pre-plan anything. That's what makes him great. But your layups still work in the 4th quarter, bro. Like, he's still hitting layups. If you are hesitant on your middies, get to your layup. That layup will open up your mid-range and give you the confidence. You'll get to the free throw line. Like, he needs to simplify the game. I think they're like overthinking this shit in the 4th quarter, and Indiana, they know what they're doing, right? I broke down how every time the game is tied, Halliburton is getting the ball and shooting that mug. Like, he is the one. They know what to do. Matherin was on fire. Hallie still get the ball. It don't matter. You know, OKC needs to start. They won't be able to develop that right now. So the only thing they can do is Shai need to fucking go crazy. But the reality is, I think Indiana got this. They be clip farming in the 4th, trying to be Kobe. That's it's such a misconception in basketball now, right? A lot of Kobe fans, right? And I say Kobe fans. I'm not talking about you, obviously, Black Canadian. But a lot of people I think there's some people that think every one of Kobe's shots was you know, a pivot dream shake into a reverse pivot into, like, I think some people think that those are all of his shots. a lot of his shots are one dribble pull-ups. Half the time he's not dribbling. Like the simplicity of the game is what Kobe was so good at. It's when everyone would blitz all of his other moves, trying to stop him from getting to a shot, is when he would pull out crazy shit. But for the most part, pump fake, jab, one dribble pull. Okay, pump fake, jab, pull the shot. Okay, next you just pull it right away. Okay, next on the catch you do your hezzy. Like that was Kobe's game. That was Michael Jordan's game, was even simpler than Kobe Bryant's game. Right? And so, I think Shai just needs to simplify his game right now, right? He needs to I'm going to just get to the rim. There was a 3 last night that I thought he should have took on Siakam. Instead, he decided to he did his punch dribble. He hesitated it, got into Siakam, and then shot a step back in Siakam's face. I think he probably would have had a more open shot if he did his punch step into the 3 in that moment, but that's just me. Pascal's shots are going to fall in these next games. I mean, if like I said, man, it feels like this is the Pacers series to lose at this point. So we'll see. It's not looking good for OKC, man, because they got one guy to count on. Meanwhile, you have a number of guys on Indiana to count on that can generate something for you, right? TJ can generate offense for you in his own way. Obi Toppin can generate offense for you in his own way. We saw Matherin. We've seen Nembhard time and again. We've seen Neesmith have moments, and that's me not even mentioning Halliburton or Siakam. So this whole run just feels like it's the Indiana Pacers to lose, man. They win tonight. I think the series is over. I think it goes 4-1 the other way, and Indy just tears them apart. And it'll go all the way back to that game 1 loss, right? Those game 1s it's massive. It's massive. I think back to the Knicks game 1 this year against the Indiana Pacers, and then when I saw that, it just reminded me of the Yankees last year against the Dodgers. The way that we lost game 1, it was heartbreaking, right? When you're trying to be the first team to get 4 games on the board, those losses are big. Not only in the count, but also like emotionally and trying to recover from it. You're playing behind, and I'm sure there are moments where these guys are like, God damn it, we wouldn't be in here if we just won game 1. And little shit like that can sometimes make you lose hope. So this game is everything for Indiana, even if for OKC, sorry, even if OKC wins, I still think Indiana's got a solid chance, a pretty good chance, even though that would be 2-2 going into OKC with 2 out of those 3 games being in Oklahoma City. But we'll see, man. They got the ex-Wizard Bryant. I saw that stat. That stat was crazy, right? The last 8 have a former Wizard. That's a crazy stat. But some of that is just, oh, well, I guess it doesn't really apply to the last couple years. That makes it impressive because of the last couple years. Yeah, I was going to say, prior to 2020, 2019, you knew the same teams were winning championships. It's been since 2019 where we've had all these different teams, right? The Raptors, right? The Warriors won, and then the Bucks won, Denver, Boston, before that it was LeBron or Steph or Tim Duncan or Kobe. Like you just have to join one of those guys and you're pretty much guaranteed a finals berth, right? But that's funny that now it's an ex-Wizard. Hey, maybe that's a good sign for Jordan Poole. maybe Jordan Poole needs to leave and he turns into some other shit. What team could use like some scoring off the bench? Like some crazy scoring off the bench? Ironically enough, the Thunder could use some scoring off the bench. Yo, ironically enough, especially if, especially the fact that the Thunder have an ability to split their bigs, right? They can start Chet and Hartenstein, or they can go Chet or Hartenstein to start, have the other one come off the bench. Having one of those guys come off the bench with a Jordan Poole, that would be kind of sick. I don't think he's a starter, bro. I mean, he did start this year, actually. Right? He started this year, right? I need Jordan Poole starting in Orlando. I don't care. I don't think Orlando needs more scoring. I'm big on Orlando, bro. Listen, man. Listen. Big Orlando Magic fan. Like Paolo Banchero's game, that shit's fire. I don't give a fuck. It's funny. It's funny, bro. I was getting killed because I put up a short because I was talking about how I think Paolo Banchero keeps the spirit of Kobe Bryant alive, right? Rest in peace, Kobe. Because I legit saw Paolo Banchero miss a three, get the ball back, shoot again, miss, get it again, and shoot that motherfucker again. Like, something about that, even though it's not right basketball, I fucking love, right? Because I think you need some of that in your growing pains as a player. But I think if you add Jordan Poole to that, I don't know if that's exactly what I would want to have in that position right now. He's a great player. He just has an actual team. We're talking about Jordan Poole, right? He had a bad season last year because he had no coaching and a huge chip on his shoulder. This year, he learned how to ball again. I think he's ready to break out again. Poole can average a smooth 18, 6, or 7 in Orlando, and it would be perfect. I think they need more assists. And if I think personally, based on what we've seen out of Jordan Poole, he's at his best when his first option is to score, right? Meaning like that's his role, right? You're obviously going to make plays and be a playmaker and make passes, but your first thing to look for is to be aggressive, looking to score. I don't know if the Orlando Magic necessarily need that with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, who like to isolate a lot. I think they probably need someone more like a Trae Young, who's really developed his passing and getting his teammates involved, to get the rest of the team involved, to get the other 12 players on the team involved. But that's just me. That's what Franz does for them. Franz was out most of the year, but they cook with him playing point forward. Poole would fit perfect. I think Trae Young would, but it's one of those things where you never know until you find out, right? You could be right, I could be right. You just would never know until you find out, because of how these guys play. I do agree. I think Franz, especially between him and Paolo Banchero, he leans more towards the point forward. But I think even he likes to score a little bit more than he likes to look for passes, and what they're missing they're really missing shooting. Whatchamacallit? I think they really need some shooting on that team. They really lack shooting. They need someone to be able to space the floor. I think he would be especially Trae Young, who's gone through all of the situations he's gone through. He's been humbled in a way. He's had to develop other parts of his game. I think Trey would be perfect. I think I could see, I can see Poole turning into that player, right? It's up to him. It's up to him, right? We've seen Poole be able to play make. I just think, his role on the team isn't going to be to score first, which isn't necessarily his strength, in my opinion. And I'm really big on putting guys, putting people in their strength, right? I think Poole is he's a fantastic scorer. I've never seen, or you don't really see players who score in different ways the way Jordan Poole does. Like most guys that are scorers, right? They do the same shit, right? Like Poole will tween, turn the other way, hezzy you into a crossover, into a weird step. Like he just does some weird shit that you cannot prepare for as a defender. And on that team against with the Warriors, which is where I think he was perfect, you had to worry about Steph Curry, you had to worry about Klay Thompson, you had to play mental chess with Draymond. Like you get this guy playing dickhead basketball, running around like a kid all over the place. Like you can't defend that. If you actually bring him in and tell him what you need, I think you'll get good results. He's not a star, and he was asked to be in Washington, and it killed his value. He's still that microwave, and he can shoot the lights out. He's just shot too much. No, I agree for sure. I think they were you know what it really is? I think the Washington Wizards thought they were getting James Harden. I think the Wizards literally thought they were getting James Harden, and they got Jordan Poole. like they thought they was getting 36 a game. And anyone that watched Jordan Poole would know the way he scores the basketball, he would never average 36 a game. No disrespect to Jordan Poole, right? But you don't score that much unless you're kind of robotic, doing the same shit over and over again. Like that's just how you score that at that high of a clip. If you're freestyling every play, it's just hard to score 36, right? It's just hard. That's what Orlando needs. They're too linear offensively. I see what you're saying. I can see that. Expectations can fuck you. How you coach and develop a player can fuck up how you coach and develop a player. No, that's fact. I say that all the time. And I'm sure you'll agree with this too, Black Canadian. I'll see a lot of times coaches will draft a player and, all right, this guy is an offensive guy. All right, we're going to turn him into a 3-and-D guy, even though he had the ball in college. And it's like, and then you're like, well, he's not a good player. Well, yeah, you asked him to do something he never fucking did. Right? Like, you asked him to do something he never fucking did, and he's trying his best. And it's just, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Jordan Poole at best is good for maybe 22 on a winning team. I think so too. I think so too. He could be really good. Michael Beasley. Oh, I wanted to talk about Michael Beasley too, actually, because he was saying, where is this? Actually, I want to pull this up.
Always here for you, Michael. Fuck no. Yeah, I can't, bro.
6'6".
How are you not in the NBA?
To be honest,
Yeah.
my perception precedes you.
Wow. Okay. Elaborate.
I
I don't know what those words mean.
say what I think, right? And I think my thoughts out loud.
Oh, I see.
So people think the things that I say are the truth that I live. So by the time I meet the people that I do, they heard about the myth. So Michael Beasley is like this crazy person that I hide behind.
I'm always here for you, Michael. Fuck.
He got fucked from the start. Beasley needed the rock. He could have been point guard. PG at worst. He needed a team to believe him as their scorer. People were saying, someone said this was the most CT answer, and I actually understood what the fuck he was trying to say. He's someone that be talking shit. Like we spoke about it the other day, right? There are different type of shit talkers, right? There's the player that comes in, oh, I'm better than you. I'm the best in here, da-da-da-da-da. There's some player, maybe they got a bunch of awards. Oh, I got all the awards. I do this. Maybe somebody come in, the stats, right? Maybe somebody come in talking shit about your family. And then sometimes you get the really weird ones, like what Michael Beasley was doing to Lance Stevenson, talking about, I'm going to do it sexy to you, when, talking about their one-on-one. And I think what Michael Beasley was trying to say in that situation right there is, he says crazy shit. It don't mean he necessarily believes what he say. It don't necessarily mean that he means what he says. That's just how he talks, and that's just how he is. I've spoken this whole episode about Rick Carlisle knowing and understanding his players. Michael Beasley needed a coach that spoke his language. He needed someone that understood what he was trying to say in certain moments and needed to understand when he was just saying some bullshit. I'm sure there's a lot of guys in suits in the NBA that heard the way Michael Beasley spoke and ran the fuck away. And, with that being said, people talk. Reputation gets built, and now he doesn't get the same freedom other players get, even with his talent. Lots of players get the energy from shit talk like KG. Shit talk like KG. Most of them were good from young like KG. He needed Jason Kidd. To your point, Black Canadian. And I say this too, right? Like, when you get someone that's talented, you need to be able to live with the positives, and you need to be able to live with the negatives, especially when it's early. Right? What I mean by that is, when you get someone like a Michael Beasley that could score, one night he might give you 40. Another night, he might shoot 6 for 28. One night, he might give you 36. The next night, he might give you 8, 9 turnovers with some bad shots. You have to live with it. Every player cannot be perfect. Every player can be perfect. I use this as an example all the time, right? Because everyone looks at Steph Curry as now one of the GOATs. He's defined this era, the greatest shooter of all time, all of these things, right? I remember how often Steph Curry used to get the most careless bullshit turnovers. You would literally see Steve Kerr losing his fucking mind on the sideline. if you started to overcoach, if you started taking away certain things because of some of the mistakes, you wouldn't get the OKC shot from the other side of the court. You wouldn't get some of these moments. Like, I tell my dad all the time, because he hates the shit Josh Hart does. You have to take the good with the bad. If you had all the shit Josh Hart did without the mistakes, you would have damn near a perfect player. You would damn near have the perfect player, right? Everyone has their pros and cons, and players try to get better over time. Some players improve their efficiency more than others. It's just how it works. But again, sometimes the expectations are just put at a level where it's just like unreasonable, bruh. He was bad early on and injury prone. This generation would have given up on him. No, facts. Remember, Kobe had 3 air balls in Utah. Imagine they gave up on him after that. Imagine he wasn't allowed to shoot no clutch shots after that. Imagine they said, yo, listen, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, they get those shots. Robert Horry, you can't shoot that, Kobe, from now on. Imagine that. Imagine someone did that to these guys. How different their career might have turned out. Now, granted, someone like a Kobe Bryant might have taken the fucking shot regardless of what y'all said, right? Right. That's where the personality kicks in, right? Each person is different. Some people are going to force their way on and you can't stop it. Some people might get stopped because someone tells them to stop. It really depends. But you know, that's what we're here for, right? To try to provide context for some of these things. When you look at a player, oh, that player was trash, that player was this, that player was that. Sometimes it's not that simple, right? Sometimes it's really not that simple. And I think Michael Beasley is a great example of that. He just showed it. He's not bad at basketball. Like maybe in the team aspect, maybe there's certain things he's not great at, but with a basketball in his hand, that guy's not bad at all. Like, like he's not bad at all. But you know, you guys think he could beat Melo 1-on-1? I think there is no way this man beats Carmelo Anthony 1-on-1. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my Melo bias. I'm sure a lot of guys would not want to see Michael Beasley though. Like I'm sure your favorite player's favorite player would not want to see Michael Beasley. Like at 34, Michael Beasley too. That's just the crazy part. But I think Melo would be tough because Melo is more comparable to him in size, right? Michael Beasley wouldn't be able to do the bully ball shit with him. We've seen Melo going at Julius Randle 1-on-1. So Michael Beasley wouldn't be able to bully him with size, but I think that'd be a really good matchup. Right? I think that'd be a really, really good matchup. But yeah, man, I think that's gonna do it for me for now. I was yapping longer than I thought I would. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was looking at my paper today, I was like, I don't know how the fuck I'm about to talk for an hour, but here we are, an hour and 18 minutes later. Here we are, an hour and 18 minutes later. But that's gonna do it for me for now, man. I'd pay to watch it. It would be great. They both the perfect archetype. I just don't think Melo would miss. Me too. That would get my $20 just because it's Melo. No bullshit. That's getting my 20. But that, like, low key, the only 2 names I might pull that could actually beat Michael Beasley are like 2 of the greatest offensive players we've ever fucking seen in our lives, and that's Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant. That, like, those might be the only 2. Everyone else might get fried. Like no funny shit. Everyone else might get fried. But that's gonna do it for me for now. I'm really thinking about coming on. Maybe I'll hook up my Xbox. I'll play some games just to get us in the vibe before the watch party, before the game comes on later. Maybe I'll play a little Call of Duty, right? Just to switch things up. I was really thinking about it earlier, so maybe I'll come in. Maybe we'll kick it a little bit longer. But that's gonna do it for me for now, man. I'm probably go get some grub, go kick it before the game. But thank you so much, man. Before I get out of here, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. You know, we're trying to grow this. I really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are the best. Thank you, Black Canadian, as always, for coming and hanging out and chatting with me. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody else, for coming and hanging out. Man, y'all are the best. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, man, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank you so much. Not gonna lie, I got Luka. Oh, you are right. Okay. I changed my pick. Luka after training this summer. Luka after training this summer, everyone gets fried. We'll talk about that later. That motherfucker might average 40 next year. I'll see y'all later, man. Y'all have a good one. I'll catch y'all at the game, or if I'm on before, man, we'll kick it, man. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Peace.